Hi everybody, this is Tamra from Tilted Asylum. I was watching Kelly Donovan's video the other day on making paper beads, and after making a few, I decided to experiment a little bit and sort of threw in my own little twist. So what I ended up with, excuse me, I have a cold, was this. Now the way that I did this is I took a piece of watercolor paper, and I'll show you what I have left of that, and I painted it black with black acrylic paint. Here, let me zoom out so you can actually see the piece of paper. I think this was like, I don't know, an 11 by 14 to start out with. Anyway, so what I did is I painted it black to start with, and then I took red foil that I got from Hershey's Chocolate Kisses. I've been saving the different colored foils, and I just tore it all up and then glued them down onto the paper. And after that set, I then came back with a wash of black acrylic paint, painted back over the whole piece, and then took a slightly damp cloth and blotted the paper to get a lot of the black off so you could see the red still. And then when that paint was dry, excuse me, when that paint was dry, I sprayed on a couple of coatings of this, which is Krylon. I don't know if you can read that. Krylon matte finish. I use this on a lot of my paper clay sculptures. I really like the finish that it gives because it's not shiny. So anyway, and I have a couple of cans of this, so I thought I'd go ahead and use that. Then after that dried, I took and I measured on the straight edge. I took and measured in a 1/2 inch and then cut it on my cutter at a diagonal. Cut it across this way, at an angle I mean, to get started. And you can see on this side it's I don't know if you can see the angle on this side. Okay, so after that initial cut, I came in and I measured 1 inch. And I already had the angle, so I measured 1 inch. Actually, it's over here. I measured 1 inch in and cut, and then turned it around, measured 1 inch in and cut. So I got elongated triangles, my strips of paper. Now this is really stiff. I think this is 140 weight, 140 pound. And so it's kind of interesting to work with. I like it better, at least for myself, than just using regular journaling papers, or tissue, or magazine covers, magazine pages, because it gives me a nice thick bead. So then I took my paper and I started wrapping it on. This is just a skewer that I cut, and I started wrapping it. And because it's so thick, as I was wrapping it, I would add a little bit of glue, and then, so that it would not unravel on me. So anyway, I like this bead better. This one turned out really nice. I like the texture on it. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see if I can get this focused. Ah, there we go. See that? With the black paint. Okay, after I finished wrapping it and I glued it, then I took a semi-gloss acrylic varnish that I gosh, I've been using it for years on a lot of my stuff. And I painted on, oh, I think on this one I have about 2 or 3 layers. But I just did a thin coat, let it dry. It only takes, I don't know, 10 minutes. And then I paint on another coat. And I really, really like the look of this. And I have been saving, because I'm a Hershey's Kisses freak, I've been saving, I don't know if you can see because of my lights, but I've got all these pinks and purples and more red and silver. So I'm going to make a couple of different pages. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this up, and I'm going to roll up, and I'll try to video rolling up one of them and to show you how I do it. So I'll be right back. Okay, I just wanted to show you, after I get it cut up, you can see all the pieces that came off of there. One of the things I wanted to point out, well, actually there's 2 things. When I first glued these on, I had thinned out my glue. I was using this, and I thinned it out, and so what happened is, as I would bend them, they would start to come loose. So I've had to go back in and just glue them down a little bit, you know, the ends and stuff here and there. I think next time I do this, I'm going to use Elmer's glue, undiluted, because I went out and bought a big old 1-gallon jug, and we'll see how that works with the next one. Another thing that I didn't mention before is that if you don't paint the edges, which I will, I'll come in with thinned down black acrylic, and I'll just touch it along the edge here. If you don't paint the edges, you end up with a bead that, this was the first one I rolled, it kind of looks like poop, but you can see how the edges are really, really white. I don't know if you, here, let me see if I can get that to focus in. Kelly, I love this camera. Thank you very much for suggesting it. Compared to, say, this piece, where I actually painted the edges black. And it's really cool, too, because you could, when you go to paint it, you don't have to just do the color that's in the bead. You could actually accent it with anything you wanted. Gold or silver or copper colors would be really pretty in the metallics. But anyway, I just wanted to point those out before I roll them up, that with this thick paper, you kind of need to take care of these edges. Unless you like the white edges, then by all means, leave them. I personally can't stand them, so I'm going to go ahead and paint all these. So I'll see you guys in a little bit. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and attempt to roll up one of these beads on camera. So let me zoom in just a little bit so you can see. Now, because this paper is so thick, I don't like to have these edges sticking out on the finished bead. So what I do is I just trim it just a teeny bit here, like so. And then I start by rolling this, and I do this slowly because I know some of this foil is going to pop up on me, so I'm just kind of pressing it in place. I don't know if you can see that very well. Ow. This paper is very stiff. So anyway, I'm rolling it from the back side because this way I can watch the edges. Because I like for the edges to be even as it's rolling. You'll see it more as I go farther along. We just keep rolling. And if it goes a little wonky, you just kind of push it in the direction you want it to go. So I'm going to start adding a little bit of glue to this. Excuse me for all the sniffling and the clearing my throat, but we have had this really nasty cold going through the household. There's 4 adults here, and we have all come down with it. My husband's the latest casualty to the cold bug, and it just, I've had it for about 5 days, and it just does not want to let go. Although I'm feeling a lot better, I still have the sniffles and the clearing the throat and the occasional coughing and sneezing, so I apologize for that. Don't worry if you get a little glue sticking out, oozing out like that, because oozing, yuck, it'll dry clear. And then once you get the varnish all over it, you will never see it. So I'm just going to get some glue here on this part. Just tap tap a little bit. Take my toothpick and spread it out. And then I want it to be in the center as much as possible. In fact, I don't even need that anymore. Let's see. Because these beads are pretty stiff to start with, just because of the nature of the paper. Just kind of hold it in place. This is definitely a messy process. Take some of that glue off of there. Doesn't look all that great right now. It's a little dull. It's a little dull. But once I get my varnish on there, you see the difference. It gets really very pretty, almost glass-like. But anyway, that is how I roll them up. And then I just set it off to the side. Let it dry, and then later today I will, after I get all of these rolled up, I have all of this too. After I get all these beads rolled, then I'll come back after they've dried. I'll come back and I'll varnish them. So I'll see you later. Bye. Well, I finished varnishing the beads. I think I got like 15 beads out of that one piece of paper. These have 2 coats of varnish on them, and the varnish I'm using actually is Minwax Polyurethane Clear Satin. I've had, in fact, I bought a small can, and I've had it for years, and I just put it in a canning jar, and it literally has lasted me for years, so it's not that expensive. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. And if you liked it, please subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be doing more videos. I will be doing a lot of videos on sculpting with paper clay, and a few on painting, and whatever else my muse decides to shove into my head. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.